So next we're going to take a look at, on a continuation of this problem, we're going to take a look at, let's assume, our purchase return. Purchase return. So we dealt with how to purchase inventory. And we're going to we dealt with a payment within a discount. And now we're going to talk about a purchase return. A purchase return. So let's assume that it is now the 6th of May. And let's suppose that we returned $1,000 of inventory. Suppose that we returned $1,000 of inventory. Okay, what are the key words? Returned inventory. Now put yourself in the shoes of everybody's returned something back from the store, hopefully. And what happens when you return something from the store? Two things could happen. You're going to give the goods up and receive cash, but if you bought it on account, you're going to give the goods up, and what's going to happen to your account? It's going to go down. So the same rule is going to apply here. We bought on account originally the inventory, and now we're returning $1,000 of the inventory. So the cost of our inventory should do what? Go down because we don't have it anymore. But what else should go down? Our accounts payable. So we're going to debit accounts payable, decreasing it. And we're going to credit inventory. For how much? $1,000. Very easy. The next one that I'm going to look at is on the 7th. This time it's called a purchase allowance. A purchase allowance. And it's on the 7th. The dates are very important with this because that's how we're going to know if we get discounts or not. So suppose that we receive an allowance. Again, all so far we've been handling situations on the purchasing side. For, I don't know, let's say $500. We receive an allowance for $500. Okay? Now, what's the difference? What are the key words? Allowance and we receive, right? So we received allowance for $500. Now, let me tell you what the difference between a purchase return and a purchase allowance is. Very simple. And I'm going to use this pen as an example. I bought a pen from you all, right? I bought this pen from you all. I'm about to make a purchase return. Bam. I returned the pen. I no longer have the pen. You have credited, you have lowered my accounts payable, and we both have a nice day and walk off. That was an example of a purchase return. Now, let me tell you the example of a purchase allowance. I bought this pen from you. I call you up and I'm complaining. I'm like, hey, these pens that I bought for you are crap. They're not lasting too long and I'm having a problem. I'm thinking about returning it. You say, no, we don't need the pens. We don't want anything with the pens. Don't worry about the pens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the amount that you owe me on the account. I'll repeat that again. I'm going to lower the amount that you owe me on the account. So before you owe me $1,000 because you're complaining about the pens, I'm going to lower that amount that you owe me. So you no longer owe me $1,000. How about I give you an allowance of $300? So I first started owing you guys $1,000. I called and complained. You guys say you want to give me an allowance of $300. Keep the pen. I'm keeping the pen, right? How much do I owe now? $700. Right? So that's the difference between allowance and a return. The main difference is returns, the purchaser does not own the goods anymore because he returns it. With an allowance, the purchaser still owes the good. What are they having similar? The cost of inventory gets cheaper. Okay? Rule number one, inventory is always on the books at cost. So regardless if you still have it or not, the cost of inventory from both the purchase, return, and allowance does what? Goes down. So what should be my journal entry for an allowance of $500? I should debit what? Accounts payable. Why? Because my accounts payable is going down because they've given me an allowance of $500. And what should I credit? Again, inventory. Why? Because inventory is always on the books at what? Cost. And the cost of inventory have done what? Gone down. Okay? And that's a purchase allowance. Now, next I want to talk about a discount term. Paying outside the discount term. Paying outside the discount term. So let's assume that it is now paying outside the discount term. Let's assume that it is now the 16th. It's now the 16th, right? And suppose that we pay the remaining amount owed. Suppose that we pay the remaining amount owed. What's the key words? Pay remaining amount, right? So first we need to find out how much was owed, right? First we need to find out how much was owed. What account will we find out, or should we analyze to find out what account, how much is what? Owed. Anytime you get confused, always go to the what? T accounts, okay? And so, what account will we analyze? Accounts payable. Let's pull this over to the side for a second. Make stuff systematic. We're going to analyze accounts payable. Why? Because accounts payable is a liability that represents what we what? Owe. Now, if we were correctly posting all our previous journal entries to the T accounts, this should be already updated, but we didn't. So we have to go back. And I have to think about this because I'm freestyling all of this stuff. So we started out with accounts payable. I think we bought it for $10,000. Right? So our journal entry was a credit for $10,000. Then we had a payment on the account for $4,000 within a discount term. So that decreased our accounts payable by $4,000. Then we had a return, right? We had a return of $1,000. So that decreased our accounts payable again for $1,000. All I'm doing is posting. Then we had a what? Allowance. How much was the allowance? The allowance was $500. So now we have an allowance of $500. And so that's going to decrease our accounts payable by $500 again. So now we can find out what's the remaining amount owed now. 10,000 minus, what is that, 5,500? Seems to be 4,500 if I'm correct. Yeah, 4,500. So that's how much owed. So we're going to make that payment of $4,500 on the 16th, which is clearly outside of the discount terms because the initial purchase was on the what? First. And we had a discount period that extended up to 10 days after the sale. Okay? So Let's get this going. It's a payment on the account. So two things are happening. My accounts payable should be going down, so I'm a debit accounts payable. And I'm a credit what? Cash, because the keyword paid. As I said before, your accounts payable is always going off the books at the full amount. How much is our full amount? We've already calculated it. Our full amount is $4,500. That's how much we have to pay. Now, the cash amount, guys. Focus on the cash amount. Are we in the discount terms? Absolutely not. We are way out of the discount terms. Therefore, how much cash do I truly have to pay these guys since I won't be receiving a discount? $4,500. Absolutely. And so we won't have to credit or adjust inventory because it costs us the same. I will repeat that again. We will not have to credit or adjust inventory because it costs us the same.